notorious, brutal, isolated, Devil's Island, a penal colony where hope went to die. But in 1931, one man defied the odds. Henri Charrière, wrongly convicted of murder, found himself trapped in this tropical hell. This isn't just a story of escape. It's a saga of resilience, cunning, and the unwavering will to be free. Henri Charrière was born on November 16, 1906, in the small village of Saint-Étienne-de-l'Ardoise in the Ardèche region of France. He was raised in a relatively modest household. His father was a school teacher, and his mother was a homemaker. Charrière, often called Papillon due to the butterfly tattoo on his chest, experienced a relatively ordinary childhood. His early years were marked by the typical rural lifestyle of the time, which included both schooling and assisting with family responsibilities. However, the lure of adventure and a rebellious streak often set him apart from his peers. In his late teens and early 20s, Charrière began to drift into a life of petty crime. He was drawn into the Parisian underworld, where he engaged in various illegal activities, including theft and safecracking. His criminal activities escalated, and by 1931, he had established a reputation within the criminal circles of Paris. In 1931, Charrière was arrested and convicted for the murder of a pimp named Roland Legrand. Despite his claims of innocence and assertions that he was framed, Charrière was found guilty. This conviction would set the stage for his infamous escape and the subsequent narrative that would captivate the world. Henri Charrière's trial took place amidst significant media attention. Despite the lack of concrete evidence linking him directly to the crime, the court proceedings concluded with a guilty verdict. On October 28, 1931, Charrière was sentenced to life imprisonment with hard labor, a common sentence for serious crimes in France at that time. The harsh sentence reflected the judicial system's attempt to curb the rising crime rates by making an example of high-profile criminals like Charrière. Throughout the trial, Charrière maintained his innocence, a stance that he would uphold for the rest of his life. Following his conviction, Charrière was transported to the French penal colony in French Guiana, a place notorious for its brutal conditions and high mortality rates. The journey to French Guiana was grueling, involving a lengthy sea voyage under harsh conditions. In 1933, he was sent to the prison on Île du Salut, part of the larger penal system that included the infamous Devil's Island. The penal colony was designed to break the spirit of its inmates through isolation, hard labor, and inhumane treatment. Charrière's arrival marked the beginning of an arduous period characterized by multiple escape attempts, severe punishments, and a relentless quest for freedom. Devil's Island itself was reserved for the most incorrigible prisoners and was notorious for its extreme isolation and harsh environment, making any thought of escape seem almost impossible. However, it was precisely this desperate situation that fueled Charrière's resolve to escape and ultimately led to his legendary tale of perseverance and resilience. The harsh reality of spending the rest of his life in captivity fueled his determination to regain his freedom and clear his name. The oppressive environment of the penal colony, combined with Charrière's unyielding spirit and resourcefulness, made the idea of escape an all-consuming goal. Charrière's initial escape attempts were marked by a series of failures and near misses. Shortly after his arrival in French Guiana, he made his first attempt to flee, which ended in recapture and severe punishment. Subsequent attempts were similarly thwarted by the challenging terrain, the vigilance of the guards, and the treacherous jungle environment. Each failure was a setback, but it also provided valuable lessons and insights into the complexities of planning a successful escape. Charrière's resilience and refusal to accept his fate were evident in his relentless pursuit of freedom. Despite the repeated failures, Charrière's final escape plan was a culmination of careful observation, strategic thinking, and collaboration with fellow prisoners. He devised a plan to escape by sea, taking advantage of the penal colony's coastal location. The plan involved constructing a makeshift raft using coconut fiber and any available materials. Charrière and a few trusted inmates planned to navigate the perilous waters surrounding the island, aiming to reach the mainland of South America. This daring plan required precise timing, as they had to avoid detection by the guards and the natural hazards posed by the ocean. Preparation for the final escape was extensive and required significant resourcefulness. Charriere and his accomplices secretly gathered materials over time, constructing the raft in sections to avoid drawing attention. They also stockpiled food, water, and other essentials needed for the perilous journey. To enhance their chances of survival, they studied the currents and weather patterns, choosing a time when conditions were most favorable for their escape. The meticulous preparation and unwavering resolve ultimately paid off, leading to their successful departure from Devil's Island and Charriere's eventual freedom. Charriere and his fellow escapees seized upon a rare opportunity when they noticed a shift in guard patterns and a chance to exploit the terrain and natural elements. Using makeshift rafts crafted from sacks filled with coconuts, Charriere and his companions embarked on their perilous journey. Their departure, under the cover of darkness, was fraught with immediate danger as the treacherous waters around Devil's Island were notorious for their strong currents and shark-infested waters. The initial moments of the escape were critical, as the group had to silently navigate the dangerous waters without alerting the guards, all while managing the fragile nature of their makeshift vessels. The challenges Charriere and his comrades faced during the escape were immense and multifaceted. The physical environment itself posed significant risks. Strong ocean currents threatened to sweep them off course, and the presence of sharks added a constant layer of danger. Furthermore, the escapees had to contend with the tropical climate, which brought with it severe heat and sudden storms. The rudimentary nature of their rafts made it difficult to carry sufficient supplies, leading to issues with food and water scarcity. Additionally, the threat of recapture loomed large, as colonial authorities were quick to organize search parties to hunt down escapees. Charriere's group had to maintain a careful balance between speed and stealth, avoiding populated areas where they might be spotted and reported. Throughout their journey to freedom, Charriere and his companions encountered numerous dangers and obstacles. One significant encounter was with hostile indigenous tribes, who viewed the escapees with suspicion and aggression. These confrontations were life-threatening and required careful navigation of unfamiliar social and cultural landscapes. The group also faced natural barriers such as dense jungles and swamps, which were teeming with poisonous snakes, insects, and other hazardous wildlife. Navigating through these terrains without adequate tools or knowledge heightened the risk of injury and illness. Malaria and other tropical diseases posed a constant threat, exacerbated by the lack of medical supplies. Despite these perils, the escapees were occasionally met with unexpected acts of kindness from local inhabitants who provided them with food, shelter, or guidance, often at great personal risk. What other daring escapes have captured your imagination? Share your thoughts on Henri Charriere's ordeal in the comments below, and subscribe for more explorations of history's most audacious adventures.